first of all, in my opinion, when we're talking about dealing with radicalization, I don't think there needs to be any sensitivity towards it. Let me say this at the outset that there are no winners in radicalization. Any radical thought. I do not in any form or language support any type of extremist thought. Our civilizational ethos itself rests on like balance, balance of mind. We talk about this all the time, balance of thought, balance of speech. But however, I find that it is far harder to achieve balance than it is to be radical. But balance also means the onus of peace and civility lies on the shoulders of all major stakeholders. And that is why I find you mentioning Dharm Sansad, I'm not trying to put you on a spot here, but a little bit strange because you haven't mentioned, let's say, a Varis Pathan threatening Hindus in an AIMIM rally, political rally, saying the time has come for Muslims to unite and achieve freedom. He reminded Hindus after what they've been through, and this is where sensitivity, if it has to come in, it has to come in here, is that they can dominate us. So Hindus must be scared of them. This is what he said. Or an Amanatullah Khan, who openly calls for the beheading of Swami Yati Narsinganand, whatever. You may like him, you may not like him, but is that the ethos? Is that the law of this country? It isn't. Or an Owaisi, who commands such sort of popular loyalty amongst his community, saying, remove police for 15 minutes, we could finish off 100 crore Hindus. Or saying that terrorist Yaqub Menon had to be hanged because there were not enough Muslims in the parliament. Where is the sensitivity then? I can go on, even in during the CA, we saw people openly threatening to wage jihad, if India didn't reject the CAA and the NRC. But, having said that, General Singh also mentioned the Barelvi school of thought. These are complete schools. These are complete organizations and populations that back these organizations. The Raza Academy is a proponent of the Barelvi school of thought. And what did the Raza Academy do? It asked for blasphemy laws. This is the bill that it wanted to be passed in a country like this. So I think when we talk about radicalization, we need to look at when we talk, look at it in a different way. If we look at the Dharm Sansad, it was a motley bunch of people, who were listening to these, so-called proponents of, radical thought, who really could not even form, they can't even properly form a proper group, Whereas when you look at these rallies being addressed, these are hundreds and thousands of people. That is serious radicalization. I don't think Dharm Sansad is a one-off instance. Having said that, I have to say that India by nature is a largely, Hindu homeland, and therefore it is egalitarian in nature. And therefore, there has been the kind of growth of so-called minority populations as we have seen. I don't consider the Muslim or the Christian populations, honestly, to be minorities any longer. And we need to stop safeguarding radicalization by giving them this cover fire by calling them minorities. It is because this country has been passive that such statements and open threats in political rallies can be made against the majority community. However, of course, the real minorities, on the other hand, however, I believe are, let's say, the Parsis or the Buddhists, because if you look at Assam itself, if there's 34% Muslim population, that affects a huge amount of constituency seats in Assam. By no stretch of imagination do they remain minority. So I think the onus lies on these societies to understand that it is within their community that serious radicalization is happening, and the society needs to step up and condemn this radicalization. The problem is within the society, there is support that is given. I was on a debate once, and this was during the time where there was a call for Wasim Rizvi's beheading. And I asked the person who was supporting this, I said, will you condemn this on TV? And he could not condemn it because he knew the repercussions of him condemning something like this would have far-reaching impacts on him and possibly his family as well. You look at Punjab, you look at Tamil Nadu, there's an explosion of conversions. In Punjab, you have a Christian CM, possibly because they need to woo the Christians, the crypto Christians, the huge conversions that have been happening. They need to woo these populations. So, I think, when we talk about all of this, when we talk about sensitivity, we have to understand who is it impacting, the kind of populations it is impacting, and is it an organized bid to radicalize or not? And I think in the case of Dharm Sansad, it was very unfortunate. I condemn what they say, but being a part of the so-called majority population in this country, I feel safe condemning my own people. Right. Which is what does not happen on the opposite side.
Please remember to subscribe to us and switch on the notifications for this channel. For our other social media links, more content, and to support our work, please visit citti.net. Dhanyavad. Namaskar.